Going to Buchanan High School, I was fortunate enough to have so many influential teachers and coaches. I had, for example, I had Brian Weaver, Jim Moxley, Mary Hansen, Jim O'Brien, and the list goes on and on and on. But the one person who's really had a huge impact on my life was Mike Vaught. He was my head coach for football for 2 years, and Coach Vaught didn't really care about what I did on the football field or in the classroom. It's how I did it. Did I do it with integrity? Did I do it with honor? Did I have good character in doing all those things? And that's what his teaching to me is what instilled me to carry that through my college and professional career. And now being a teacher and a coach is something I'm going to try to instill to my students and players.
I'd like to thank Mr. Dan Boles for introducing me to hands-on science 20 years ago in his science class. He was a very caring teacher and cared about all of his students. He's influenced me to follow my dreams of loving science. Since high school, I received my teaching credential and master's degree and have been a teacher for Sanger Unified. I am currently the first STEM teacher in the district, and I hope to instill the love of learning and science in my current and future students the way Mr. Boles influenced me.
Going into high school, I was definitely a troubled youth. I had lots of problems. My brother before then started a reputation for me, and I kept it going. And it was Terry Smart. She worked in the SRC at that time, and she pulled me aside and she let me know that she cared for me and that she was there for me and I could talk to her. And there's a couple situations where I was a tough guy and I was able to go into her office. She pulled me aside, and there was times where we had some deep conversations, and she pushed me to move forward and change my life. And with her not giving up on me, really helped me stick it through. And I wasn't the one to graduate high school, but I made it through. I went all the way through, and I really got to thank Terry Smart for that.
There are so many people in Clovis Unified who've made a huge impact on me. I'd like to give a special thanks to Mr. Harold Woods, my 6th grade teacher at Jefferson Elementary. Mr. Woods pushed me to believe in myself and to also dream big. That year, I signed up to run for secretary, but he asked me why not run for student body president. So I did, and I won. I later went on to become the first Hmong American student body president of Clovis High School in its 100 years. I also went on to continue studying government and public policy, and also continue to work in public service today. Thank you so much, Mr. Woods, and everyone in Clovis Unified.
Someone who really affected me in a positive way from Clovis Unified was my orchestra teacher, Arthur Huang. One of the things that I really appreciated about him was, in a school where obstacles and liability were really big and you couldn't really make any mistakes, this man with music presented us with a way to explore and be entrepreneurs on our own. And one of the ways he did that was through a quintet. I made lifelong friends in that quintet. We made some money on the side. We went on adventures, and it's something that I'll always remember. Mr. Huang affected me so much that I was inspired to write a poem about him. In today's climate of commercial education, this teacher was unique, presenting a medium and shaping a class that forced students to think and explore the instantaneous expression of their emotions and perspective in united song. He made room for every student, every personality played a role, every person belonged. He also brought students together, helped us form a quintet. Little did he know he fostered and founded lifelong friendships, memories, and skills, and so I owe Arthur a priceless debt. If opportunity were a map, this man was the legend, the key. Thank you for all the metaphors, listening and advice in high school and college, and above all, believing in your students, Mr. Huang.
One Clovis Unified teacher I will always remember is Mr. Yoki. Mr. Yoki was my high school history teacher. And my parents were going through a rough financial time my senior year in high school, and I decided it was my turn to do my part, and I went out and got a full-time job. It was a full-time 4 to midnight shift, 5 days a week, and it started really impacting my schoolwork. And Mr. Yoki noticed this, how it was impacting me personally and how it was impacting my schoolwork, and he helped me get another job. He went above and beyond and helped me get a job that was better pay, better hours, and ultimately giving me my teenage years back. I would really like to thank Mr. Yoki for the impact he had on my life and for everything he did for me.
I consider it a privilege to have grown up in the Clovis Unified School District, and because of that, I have high expectations for my own children. But today, I have the great opportunity to salute my guidance counselor, Jose Hernandez, who I believe is still in the Clovis Unified School District. He was someone that I could go to for a lot of advice and just to talk sometimes. And you know, I was 16 years old, I was being heavily recruited. I had just transferred back from Fresno after being gone for 3 years. So there was a lot going on in my life, and I was able to just go into his office and talk about my making sure I have the credits I needed for college, but also just to talk to him and just hear his calming, reassuring voice that everything was going to be okay. So just today I want to say thank you, Jose Hernandez, Coach Hernandez, for everything you did for me back then, and just thank you, all the staff, administration, teachers, for what you did for me when I was there, but also for continuing to work hard for the future generation.
The last 2 years at Clovis High, I had 2 teachers that were very memorable to me. One is Mr. Gutierrez, my Spanish teacher. He really made a big impact on me, made Spanish interesting. Mr. Quito, my art teacher, that showed us how to do a lot of jewelry. In fact, Mr. Gutierrez subbed for my daughter at Clovis High 2 years ago, and they just made school interesting for me and fun. If they were here right now, I just want to say thank you to them.
School goes by quickly, but I'll never forget my 3rd grade teacher, Mrs. Kalesh, at Mountain View Elementary. She's kind, funny, smart, caring. She's everything that you would want in a teacher. And I just remember when I was in the 3rd grade, I would walk in her classroom every day and just feel uplifted and encouraged. And I could see that the other kids in that classroom felt the same way. And I think that there's more to being a teacher than just teaching, so I really like that. And it just watching her every day inspires me to be a better person.
The most influential person in Clovis Community Day School was my English teacher, Mr. Motta. He really had a big impact on me on the things that I needed to accomplish in life besides being a teenager and being an adolescent. And some of those things were to read more. And Mr. Motta's background, he was actually in the Navy. So once I graduated, I joined the Army, and I was deployed in 2012. And it was sad to say that when I came home, he had passed away, so I never really got to thank him for all the things that he had done for me in school. And as an adolescent, I used to give him a hard time just because, you know, he's the English teacher, but he always had something encouraging to say all the time. And there was one thing that he did for me that there was one thing that he did for me that really hit home, and that was that he seen something in me that I didn't see in myself, and that was a leadership role on campus. He noticed that all the other students would follow and listen in on what I had to say and what my opinions were. And that really had an effect on me in my military career. I actually made a E5 sergeant my 4th year in, and ever since then, I have a new job now where I'm an ironworker, and even then, I still hold that leadership role that he showed me that I never had. So I just wish that I can actually thank him for all the things that he has done for me.